Hi, I'm prepping for some of the classes I'm teaching this weekend for DIY the joint in Hoboken. We're doing classes here because the shop is unavailable there right now. Anyway, on last Sunday, I had a few people taking a beginner course, and they wanted to make cutting boards or cheese board, a little bread board. So started out by having each person design their own bread board, pick their materials. We did some teaching on bandsawing and cutting and drilling, and we got to a point where everybody had their board cut out and started to work on refining the shapes. So this Sunday morning, we'll finish it up, and everybody will put a finish on their cutting board. I wanted to show you something that I use myself, so I share it with students of mine, and how to get a curve in a piece of wood, how to sweeten it so you take out all the bumps, and how to do that relatively easily. And in this case, with hand tools. So, as you might guess, a lot of times after bandsawing, I can use a file or a rasp, and I can pull the rasp, and I use it at a long angle. I like pulling it. Naturally, if I had to, I can push it. Then I like to go with a spoke shave. Now I generally have a couple spoke shaves. Both of these have a flat bottom. One set a little deeper than the other, so I can take a lot of material off quickly and then clean it up with the blade set fine. Since this is pretty much where I wanted it, I'm not going to do too much with this. So I'll just kind of go from a high to a low, then I can pull it, go from a high to a low, and now I can take a look, and I like looking down here, almost like you would look down an arrow to see if it's straight. In this case, I'm looking down the board to see that there's no bumps. Now to further refine that, quite often I take some fine sandpaper and I have glued onto a flexible board. In this case, this 1/8" plywood, but it could be like a thin piece of ash, something that bends well. And I've taken a long stroke and since this has some backbone, it tends to take off the bumps. If I just use sandpaper in my hand, I could actually be going between the bumps and not really take them out. But with the board, it allows the high spots to disappear, and naturally I have different ones for different grits. So I can go all the way up to 180, 220 and finish that up. And it does give me a really nice curve. Where it comes in handy, most of my work is curves. So this is something I just started to shape. It's basically roughed out, and I'll use the same techniques I just demonstrated on this board for this, and I'll have it all complete.